Si me sonke, si me sonke, si me sonke.
From the valleys to the skyline, we rise again. Hand in hand, we build this land, women and men. For our daughters, for our sons, for our home and pride. Let peace be our armor, and hope be our guide.
Security brings the courage to dream. Accountability keeps our nation clean. Local hearts, local hands, we grow strong. Training the future, we all belong.
Advance South Africa, advance. Together we stand, together we dance.
We dance.
Si me sonke, we're one tribe,
One chance.
for prosperity and unity. Advance.
Advance. Advance South Africa. Advance.
Hope in our hearts, courage in our stands.
Advance.
From Cape to Limpopo, from Karoo to the sand, we'll build what we desire.
Advance.
Advance.
Advance. Si me sonke. Si me sonke. Si me sonke.
Every mother safe, every sister free, every daughter's dream protected by we. When our homes are strong, investors come near, a nation in harmony. There's nothing to fear. We are the
Salt of this land, S-A-L-T.
we are the
Salt of this land, S-A-L-T.
security,
Salt of this land,
accountability,
salt of this land,
locality,
salt of this land.
training. We rise together, every color, every creed, for a nation that gives, not a nation of need. Advance South Africa, si me sonke, it's our dance. For prosperity and unity, our chance. For prosperity and unity, our chance.
South Africa,
Si me sonke, it's our dance. For prosperity and unity, our chance. For prosperity and unity, our chance. Oh.
You could literally build a machine to create prosperity. I mean, not a physical one with gears and steam, but a blueprint, a really detailed framework designed to fix some of the deepest problems a town could ever face. Today, we're looking at a plan just like that for a South African municipality called Ngwathe. It's an ambitious idea to engineer a comeback from the ground up. Let's get into it.
So before we can even talk about the solution, you've got to understand the problem. And it really starts with this number, 30%. That is the staggering unemployment rate in Ngwathe. Just let that sink in for a second. Nearly 1 out of every 3 people who wants a job simply can't find one. That's not just a statistic, it's a daily reality for thousands of families.
And it's not just a lack of jobs. Check this out, 21 million rand. That's how much was reported as fruitless and wasteful spending in Ngwathe in just 1 year. Wow. That's money that should have been fixing roads, securing water, creating those very jobs we're talking about. It just paints this really stark picture of a system in a deep, deep financial crisis.
Right. So these numbers lead us straight to Ngwathe's core issue,
It's prosperity problem. We're talking about a vicious cycle, right? Where unemployment, poverty, and really bad financial management all feed off each other. And it's this cycle that a new, kind of radical approach is trying to break.
When you lay it all out, you can see how it all connects. You've got that nearly 30% unemployment, which directly leads to 60% of households being hit by poverty. At the exact same time, you have this documented history of corruption and terrible audit results, which just destroys public trust and, drains the budget. And the end result for people on the ground? Basic services like water and roads are failing. The stakes here are just incredibly high.
So when you're facing problems this big, what in the world do you do? Well, that brings us to the proposed solution. It's a brand new framework put forward by a new local political party, and it's called SALT.
So this new party, the Southern African Advance, or TSAA for short, has come forward with this thing. And it's not just a list of vague promises. No, it's a structured, almost mechanical blueprint designed to systematically take on every single one of the issues we just talked about. Their whole strategy is built on these 4 pillars, and they make up the acronym SALT. You've got S for safety, A for accountability, L for local economy, and T for training and transformation. Each one is a crucial piece of what they're calling their prosperity machine. And look, this is not just some catchy campaign slogan. As you can see right here in their official constitution, the SALT framework is literally enshrined in their legal documents. It's not just what they say, it's the foundational DNA of their entire organization. Okay, so now we get to the absolute heart of this machine, the engine. The central idea, the big bet, is that uncompromising, total safety is the key that unlocks everything else. It's designed to be the primary driver of all economic growth. This quote from their planning documents just says it all, doesn't it? If a 3-year-old is not safe walking alone to a park, we have failed. I mean, that sets an incredibly high bar. It's not about just a little less crime. It's about fundamentally rethinking what it means for a community to be safe.
So how do they plan to do it? Well, the goal is to create these things called zero crime designations. The idea is to make specific areas, we're talking everything from townships to farms to business districts, verifiably, certifiably safe. To essentially create these protected bubbles where growth can actually happen.
So, how does safety make you prosperous? Well, here's the logic. It's a virtuous cycle. Once an area is safe, it starts attracting investment. Property values go up, which brings in new residents. Businesses see their insurance costs plummet. Suddenly, industries like tourism have a reason to exist there. And all of this grows the local tax base, which then funds even more services and security. See? It's like a domino effect, and safety is the very first domino to fall.
And they've actually put some hard numbers on this. This isn't just wishful thinking. The framework predicts that just by creating these safe zones, you could see property values jump by 25%, business insurance costs drop 15%, and you could get a 10 to 15% boost to the local GDP. Pretty significant.
But of course, an engine can't run by itself, right? It needs gears to make it work. And that's where the other 3 pillars of SALT come in: accountability, a focus on the local economy, and training.
So, the first gear is accountability. To fight that history of financial mismanagement we saw, the plan is to go from these murky, opaque finances to something they call radical transparency. And the big idea is a public website that shows every single cent coming in and going out, in real time.
Yeah, the promise is that simple and that absolute. Every resident can see every single cent. We're not talking about some dusty report at the end of the year. We're talking about daily, verifiable proof of where the money is going. The goal is to make corruption basically impossible and to rebuild that shattered public trust from the ground up.
All right, the next gear is the L in SALT, the local economy. The idea here is really powerful. Economic activity has to be intentionally kept local. So when the municipality spends money, that money has to stay inside Nguathe, where it can fuel local businesses and create local jobs.
And this is not just a friendly suggestion. The plan mandates a hard target. 80% of everything the municipality buys, from fixing roads to buying paper clips, has to be bought from businesses right there in Nguathe. I mean, that's basically a massive direct economic stimulus for the local community. And that brings us to the final gear of the machine: training and transformation. Because this plan recognizes that real prosperity isn't just about money, it's about people, it's about skills, especially for the young people who've been hit hardest by unemployment. And once again, they're putting a hard number on the promise. The goal is to create 5,000 paid internships every single year.
This gives every kid leaving school a direct path into the economy, giving them skills, experience, and that all-important first step on the career ladder. It's a direct attack on that 30% unemployment number.
So, let's pull it all together. How do all these individual pieces actually assemble into a working prosperity machine? And is this a real, viable new model for a town's revival?
This slide really brings the whole system into focus. Safety is the engine that creates a stable environment for anything else to happen. Accountability is the lock that secures trust and finances. The local economy is the fuel that keeps money circulating. And training, well, that creates the skilled operators you need to run the whole thing.
It's a really compelling, interconnected model, and it's custom-built for Ngwale-specific problems. But it definitely leaves us with a bigger, more crucial question. Could a hyper-local, safety-first framework like this one actually be a viable blueprint for all the other struggling towns out there facing similar challenges? That is the real question to think about.
Good afternoon, Anko.
Hello, Roy.
Yeah, I was thinking about yesterday's conversation we had, and I tell you, the more I think about this, the prosperity side of our SALT principles is the one thing that will make sure that we succeed with this. Yes, safety and security is vitally important. The local economy will just fly off once we have the basic things down and we can get it going, and the youth that is up for training and not walking around in the streets. Man, I see great times for Ngwati municipality.
Definitely. Same with me. I envision it. I foresee it, and I am even a bit not frustrated, excited. Yeah, to actually get there. But to
Yes.
get there, we need to inform our voters, help them understand this beautiful plan, and make sure they understand how important their support is in bringing the public vote for change, to create change.
Well, let's be honest with each other. If we want to make this work, we need people to vote for us. For people
That's
to
it.
vote for us, they must be as excited as we are, and they must hear the SALT message, and we must send this far and wide to as many people as possible. The closer we get to election day, the more intense it's going to become. We must make sure that our voters are all registered and that they have the necessary documentation, and that they are appearing on the voters roll, and that they will be voting in the right at the right venue. That they older people that can't travel that well must be registered for special votes. There are 2 days before the actual voting day, which is normally on a Wednesday, so they reserve special votes on a Monday and Tuesday. And we must make sure that the IEC know about them, and that they could be visited at their homes or wherever they find themselves, in a hospital. And we must get the SALT message to each and every one in this town of ours, so that they can hear, they can see, they can feel, they can get as excited as we are. And so, come Voters' Day, it's just a formality, and within a day or two, we are in the pound seats. We are in office, and we can start implementing our SALT principles and the start of a prosperous Ngwati can start.
I'm thinking, assuming most listeners will have listened and watched the video that we've played, and maybe listened more than once to these talks. Um, so the details we'll talk much about it in the future again, but just touch on each pillar briefly to help voters understand, listeners understand how doable this is, how reachable this actually is. It's a very simple plan, and it's not a pie in the sky. It is something that is within our grasp. It is not a hard thing to do. It is just a new thing. I think the hardest part of this is for people to realize, oh, I can choose to bring in a new reality into our midst. And maybe just, what do you say? Shall we touch briefly on each part of this plan and just explore the what shall we call it? The simple, doable part of each.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Yeah. So
Do you want?
what safety and security as far as that goes, that's we've got the expertise. We've talked about this often. We've got the expertise. We've got the people, the experience in our community, and it's just a question of sending funding, put funding to the right places, and empowering the right people, and give uh, the boots on the ground, the authority and the help, governmental help and financial help and support, and implement very simple plans. I mean, yeah, all the experts, the military experts, the police experts we've got involved, they knows exactly what to do. It's just a matter of pulling the trigger or not pulling the trigger, just putting action to the words.
Absolutely. I think there's already an infrastructure as far as that's concerned. There's how many security companies in Paris, and surrounding towns that forms part of Ngwati municipality. They must just be harnessed into one organized group, so that we don't operate as individual little police forces trying to do our own thing. That it's coordinated, that it's well organized, and so that there's a plan behind this all. The safety and security aspect is the very first thing that we need to get in place, and as once that bears fruits, and people can see that there's a difference in their lives already, the rest I can tell you will follow quickly on its heels. Yeah, so there's money available, there's resources, there's people. It just needs guidance, and it needs a good management structure put in place, so that it's all coordinated, and the rest will fall in place. I'm convinced of it.
You think you want to touch on the accountability just quickly, the just the doable side of it, just to which is the technology within our reach.
Yeah, I believe that there's responsible people already working on the blockchain system that we have in mind. And the basic idea is, if you have a smartphone, there's a app you can download if you're a resident of Ngwati. And on this app, you could go in there. Anybody that lives within our boundaries. It's a read-only system, so there you can see exactly all the financial transactions that takes place within the municipality. So every cent that comes in will reflect, and every cent that goes out will also show. So it's like an accounting system. You can see from whom the money came and to whom it was paid out, and what the amount was and what it was for. Um, I'm sure that the general public, that there would be allowance made that they can comment. In other words, if Hanko Ferreira got a 2 million rand tender to fix something around the municipality, that I will be able to get on my bicycle, and within a month or two, I'll go and see where Hanko was working, and then take my camera with me and post and say, well, 2 months ago Hanko got this massive contract, and I can't see anything that was done in the meantime. So the public participation on this thing will be fantastic, will be super. Although it is a read-only system, so you don't have any influence on what happens on the app, but you can certainly comment on it, and it will be completely transparent. Everybody will be able to see exactly what is going on and what is the outcome of it. So if we fix potholes, for instance, the raw materials will be supplied, so that there's no loophole for money being siphoned off. Say, I had to get the special raw material. The raw materials will be supplied. If there's a fence that needs to be put up, the raw materials will be supplied. So it's the workmanship and the quality of work. It's the timeliness of the contract that it, and there's inspections that will be held on a regular basis, so that there's milestones that needs to be ticked off. When the tender gets released, and it would be fantastic if there's public participation as far as this is concerned, and very quickly the people will see that there's structure in it, and there's accountability, and there's responsible people looking after these things. So public confidence will grow, and so together it's that feeling of coherence that will be enhanced at the end of the day.
And of course, the very next pillar, the local economy pillar, gets touched on here as well. These tenders and these service providers that you refer to, that receives money from the municipality that people can view in this app, will be local service providers.
Exactly.
It is within our power, within municipal power, that we can set those standards, those regulations. We activate it and say that we want the money to be spent locally. So that tells us again that money we say at least 80%, or we want to push to 80% of municipal spending to be spent local. So it doesn't matter who gets the job. That is money that is available to be circulating within our local economy. And that creates a huge influx, a huge boost to the economic balloon locally.
Yeah, Hanko, as soon as money stays locally, that's the same money that will pay wages to other people. That's the same money that will be spent on buying food and buying Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So the pool
Yeah.
of money is circulating around, and it doesn't exit the municipality. And things will have to be bought from outside. So the stimulus is within our boundaries, and I think it's a great tool to ensure that people will sit up and say, well, at last there's a possibility that I can now start a business. Seeing that there's only one shop that does this kind of thing, there's a possibility for me that and there's a need, and there's enough
support.
so why don't I open another shop in another part of town that can supply that product?
That's it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we must also remember that all those service providers and all those tenders, they have people working for them, and those people also come from the local community. And so this already strengthens the middle class, the worker class. It lifts all the boats. All the boats rise as the water rise. So it just makes sense.
Okay, so that the last one is the T for training, which I am particularly excited about. We have to look at our figures, and there's money that has to be found somewhere, and but the concept of it is so clever. If it involves local economy, it involves local business, it involves local government organizations, hospitals, local farmers, and if we can get the youth working and earning at the same time, and they get the necessary experience, so that after their 4-year internship, that they have something to show for it. They have experience, they have practical experience, hands-on. Whoever taught them will teach them the best that they have. And it will be fantastic for our community. And I imagine all of those youths that would have been lost to Ngwati before now stays within our boundaries, and they start doing their own business because they've got that practical experience and background.
Any business owner knows the huge advantage of having more skilled people around. So somebody approaching you for a job has already got a basic understanding of things. It saves you from having to teach someone all over by yourself. It's just a huge plus for the whole community.
I can't agree with you more. Do you need to add anything more than that, Anke? Anything else? Last thoughts?
I think that was a rich mouthful of wisdom.
Fantastic.
Today.
Thank you very much for your time, Anke. Everybody, thank you for listening in.
Thanks.
We'll see us again tomorrow, just after 1 until 2 o'clock. Keep well. Gooi die
Thank you all.
tomorrow. Just.
From the valley to the skyline, we rise again. Hand in hand, we build this land, women and men. For our daughters, for our sons, for our home and pride. Let peace be our armor, and hope be our guide.
Security brings the courage to dream. Accountability keeps our nation clean. Local hearts, local hands, we grow strong. Training the future, we all belong.
Advance South Africa.
Advance.
Together we stand, together we dance.
We're dance.
We'll see every daughter's dream. Protected by we when our homes are strong. Investors come near, a nation in harmony. There's nothing to fear. We are the
Salt of this land, SALT.
We are the
Salt of this land, SALT.
security,
Salt of this land,
accountability,
salt of this land,
locality,
salt of this land.
training. We rise together, every color, every creed, for a nation that gives, not a nation of need. Avant South Africa, see me song, it's our dance. For prosperity and unity, our chance. For prosperity and unity, our chance.
On South Africa,
See me song, it's our dance. For prosperity and unity, our chance. For prosperity and unity, our chance. Oh.